Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another new analysis video from Build Tech Pro. You are surely aware, yesterday we mentioned that the market could see movement around $4,400 to $4,405, and from there we suggested taking a buy entry. If you took that buy trade, since the market went up to $4,408 yesterday, if you took the buy trade, we hope you are able to book a significant profit. Because from $4,408 the market went much higher, almost reaching around $4,480. So, if you followed our setup, we hope you were able to book a lot of profit. So, let's try to understand today which position would be safe for us to hold in the market. To begin with, if we look at today's economic calendars, we'll see that today is actually We'll find a very busy economic calendar with a lot of important data releases scheduled. Some data has already been released. There are still many more data points that will be released gradually. Among them, one of the most notable is here. There is some news about building permits, and above that, on the index, we will get those data points. But the main attraction for investors today is the NFP data. There's really nothing new to explain to you about the NFP data. For those of you who trade in the Forex market, we assume you are already somewhat familiar with this data and know that when this news is released, the market's movement or direction can change significantly. However, what matters next depends on what the expected data turns out to be. We have to follow the guidelines to determine which direction the market might actually move. If we briefly discuss the news, you are surely aware that yesterday we mentioned that if we get our expected data, the dollar could weaken somewhat, and you must have noticed that yesterday. After the news was released, the dollar weakened somewhat and the market went up significantly. So, if we briefly discuss the news today, the data that is expected here is related to building permits. If we get our expected data in the data table, we hope that during this time the dollar might become somewhat stronger. At the same time, if we take a look at the NFP data, the data that is expected for the NFP, if we get this data in the data table today, then at that time the dollar might weaken somewhat. However, we have a slightly different expectation. Since last month the NFP data came out positive, we are expecting that this month too we will see some positive data. Because of the news about building permits, the US dollar will become a bit stronger. At the same time, if the NFP data also turns out to be somewhat positive, then we will see the US dollar become much stronger, and if the dollar becomes very strong, as you all know, gold could drop significantly. So that was a general discussion about the news. Now let's go back to the chart and try to understand what kind of market movement we might see today. Let me inform you of another thing. Today, a court verdict regarding US tariff policy will be announced. If the court's decision favors the tariff policy, we will see a significant change in the market. So the movement that took place yesterday, as you have seen, happened there. So in the movement that took place yesterday, you saw that gold dropped straight down from $2,400 to $2,500, breaking through a strong support level here. After breaking it, it stayed below for a while and then went back up. This means a false breakout was created here, and it was an attempt to trap traders. So, since investors are still very much focused on the ongoing geopolitical tensions and many more important and significant news releases are coming up in the near future, and gold is currently in a very strong and undeniable buy trend. And here the breakout that occurred has once again crossed, pushing the market upward, and the price has been sustaining at the top for a long time. So even today, we advise you to stay on the buy side until the news release comes out. We are now noting down from which points we can open buy entries. If we find the market around $4,450, we can open a buy from there. If for any reason our buy trade goes into loss, we can open another buy. That would be between $4,435 and $4,440. And we can use the stop loss for all these trades around $4,420 to $25. At the same time, if the market can break this strong resistance level, then we can expect a movement of up to a maximum of $4,500. However, this trade setup is definitely try to apply it before the news time. Since the NFP data will be released today, there could be a major movement in the market, and at that time this trade setup will not be useful. After the news is released, we will try to provide a new trade setup. So this was our brief trade setup for today. We hope you will manage your trades well according to this setup. With that expectation, we take our leave. Allah Hafiz.